everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for joining me as we kick off 2024 here on the channel with an SGC grading reveal video. I have a 10 card stack here. Sent these into SGC about mid-December, and it took between 2 to 3 weeks to get them back. Not too bad at all considering the holidays and everything else. Really good turnaround time. Fantastic service as always. This is only my second submission with them. The first one I did last year was 10 cards as well. But we're just going to go through it one card at a time, and I know I tend to gab, so let's just dive right in the interest of time. First card here, 2007 Upper Deck Sweet Spot memorabilia. I think it's Sweet Spot Classic memorabilia. Nolan Ryan relic. I have a little collection of these going of Hall of Fame players. They're some of the only baseball relics that I really enjoy. And this one got an 8.5. These are thicker cards, printed on pretty thick cardstock, and so they grade very tough. It's hard to get a high grade on these Sweet Spot relics. Didn't really send this in to get a high grade. I just wanted to get it encapsulated because the other cards that I have in this little kind of mini collection that I have of kind of stud players and Hall of Famers from this set in relic form are all SGC graded as well. Picked up last year the Lou Gehrig and the Joe DiMaggio, and now I have Nolan Ryan to go alongside. Nice 2-color Houston Astros relic there, so that's a cool start. Love me some Nolan Ryan. This next one is kind of funny. I think I'm the only person who have submitted this card to date. It's a 2023 card, and it's from Panini Prism, the unlicensed baseball set. I did a whole episode about this, but I really dig this release. I think Panini did a great job with it in 2023, and there are a few cards on the checklist in particular that really appealed to me. Pete Rose is one of them, and I showed this card. I don't know if it was this exact copy, but this is the red Prism Pete Rose, numbered to 199. You can see on the back here, I've copied 190. And I decided to send this in for grading because I don't really care about the monetary value. I just think it's going to look great. Slabbed up in the SGC holder here. It's a gorgeous card, so let's take a look. And this one got the 9.5. I mean, look at that. Just stunning. Looks every bit as great as I hoped it would in the SGC holder. And I mean, this is a case of like a card that I bought for under $5, but you know, spending the extra 15 bucks to get it graded, I think really elevates, you know, this card. And I have no plans to sell this. I think it's really just a beautiful baseball card. In fact, if anything, I have a couple more copies of this. Maybe I'll include in future submissions because I am planning on doing more of this in 2024 as kind of part of my collection curation goal. But I mean, tell me that is not a gorgeous, just absolutely stunning Pete Rose card. Look at that etching through the name and the uniform number. All-time hit king. Doesn't get a lot of love from Topps in recent years, but just love that card. Happy to be one of the 199 owners of that beauty right there. Whoops, we'll just leave him up in the background as well. And let's move quickly into some hockey cards here. So I have some Pro Set buybacks. These were released over the last maybe 3 years or so. The company Leaf, which is still around, I think acquired the rights to Pro Set, and they included buybacks of cards like this. So Pro Set, for those that don't know, produced hockey cards for 3 years in the early 90s before going bankrupt. They did really nice cards, great crisp photography, but ultimately they just couldn't last. And I love these cards because I collected these as a kid. They're very nostalgic to me, but they're honestly, from a challenge standpoint, they couldn't be easier. They're kind of worthless cards. They don't really have any monetary value. And you could pick up anybody, even a star Hall of Famer, for probably 10 cents, and it wouldn't be an issue. So not a lot of challenge in collecting those, but Leaf in the 2020 Pro Set Memories release, they did buybacks of these. And this first one here, this Gordie Howe, was sent to me by my hobby buddy Brian over at Walk and Bach here on YouTube. And I decided to send this in on not only, I mean, first and foremost, it's just an awesome card, Hartford Whalers, and one of the best hockey players ever to lace up skates, Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey. But I love that these buybacks, which are numbered to 5, when they get authenticated by SGC, you know, as they always do, you get the serial numbering right on the front, which is something I didn't point out with the Pete Rose, but could have. But I love that gold 2 of 5, 90-91 buyback denoted right on the flip. It's really the entire reason I sent them in. I just think, condition doesn't matter. That these are limited to just 5 copies. So you kind of get what you get. As far as what's out there, you don't really get to be picky. Really just wanted them authenticated, in the slab, protected, and with that numbering there, I just think it really, really takes these buybacks to a new level. I loved them before, but I really love them now. And so, Brian, thanks again for this. And the Gordie Howe registered the 8-5. And I have a couple of others that I've picked up here that I included in this submission. I think I was one of the first people ever to really submit these. I had to add every single card, hockey card that I added in this order into the database. In SGC's online system, these were not already present. But from that same 90-91, which was the first ever Pro Set release, also have the Ron Francis. This is the All-Star, and also for the Whalers, the greatest Hartford Whaler of all time. And like the Gordie Howe and like all the buybacks we're going to look at here, numbered to 5, this being copy 3 of 5. Great Ron Francis there. I love those All-Star uniforms. And this logo here from the All-Star game being held in Pittsburgh. So a little bit of foreshadowing as Francis would be traded to Pittsburgh later that season. So yeah, some of the all-time greats as far as points and goal scoring in the history of hockey there with Gordie Howe and Ron Francis on matching Pro Set buybacks. From the following year after the trade to Pittsburgh, I also had the Ron Francis base card. So this is his first Penguins card from Pro Set, 91-92 buyback, as you can see. 1 year after the Howe and Francis that we looked at a moment ago. Also numbered to 5, and this one also got the SGC 9, so really good. I don't have, I've got a ton of Ron Francis in my collection, but I don't have a lot of graded Ron Francis cards, or I didn't prior to this submission, so nice to add that pair, kind of bolster that graded Ron Francis selection a little bit. And then I have 2 more hockey cards before we move back to baseball, and they're both featuring the greatest hockey player of all time. To go with that Ron Francis, I also have the 91-92 Wayne Gretzky buyback. Gold, copy 2 of 5. This one also got the fine 9, just like the Ron Francis, like both Ron Francises, quite honestly. So 3 9s there. That's awesome. And is there a better grade to get for a Wayne Gretzky card than a 9? I think not. So there you go, copy 2 of 5. This one is memorable to me because this card was the first one and the only card I ever sent off for a TTM autograph. So again, this was issued in a pack back in 1991, was bought back and then stamped as a buyback and reissued in the 2020-21 Leaf Pro Set Memories release. So pretty great buyback, pun intended. Numbered just to 5. Not every day that you get a Wayne Gretzky numbered that low. And then the final hockey card, and this is my favorite of the bunch. Wayne in that season passed or surpassed the 2,000 point milestone, and he received this card from Pro Set to commemorate that. And here we have copy 1 of 5 of the 2,000 point Wayne Gretzky Pro Set card. I love the celebration shot there. Fans in the background, just a great image. Very 90s here with the 2000 kind of sliding in from the right border. Just a memorable card from my youth, and was excited when this one surfaced just recently. The other 4 that you see in the background here, buybacks I've had for a while. This one was a brand new pickup. A seller up in Canada has listed a bunch of these from a private collection that they acquired over the last few weeks, and I've scooped up more than a handful. So really cool 2,000 point Wayne Gretzky buyback. First one off the line, copy 1 of 5. So that's great. And that's going to do it for the hockey portion of the SGC reveal. And now we're going to finish it off with 3 baseball cards. Call it a day. And all 3 of these fit the first of 2 collecting themes that I have for 2024. I've already announced this one in a prior video, but I'm going to focus on the Negro Leagues in 2024 and players who played in the Negro Leagues in my collection. I just want to improve and kind of elevate that part of my collection, fill it out a little bit more. It's something that I've kind of neglected over the years or just not paid a lot of attention to. And the first card I have is one of the greats who played in the Negro Leagues and then moved over to Major League Baseball and had an equal amount of success. Great career, and it's another one of these sweet spot classic materials cards. Roy Campanella, and this one actually got a 9.5. So this is from the 2005 release, and you have that nice like wool looking relic in there. Campy, multiple time MVP, Brooklyn Dodgers. What's not to love about this card? Again, as I mentioned when I showed the Nolan Ryan earlier, these are a little bit thicker. They're in those extra thick SGC holders here, and as a result, condition can really be an issue with these. And this card sat in a penny sleeve in a box in my card room for probably 4 years before I finally put it in this submission. And so I was really shocked to see this come back with the grade that it did. Pretty impressive. And then the last two cards I think are probably my favorite two of the order. The first one is my only to date playing era card of somebody who played in the Negro Leagues, and it's got a lot to love about it. This is from the 1945-46 Caramello Deportivo set, and it's Charlie Kaiser. Now, this was a set I think put out in Cuba. I should have done some more research, but somewhere down south where a lot of the players from the Negro Leagues would go to play in the off season. They would head to warmer weather, and those countries would produce baseball card sets like this card here. Even though, you know, Negro Leagues in the United States and those players didn't really get any trading cards like Major League Baseball did, the leagues that they would play in the off season often did. And Charlie Kaiser here was a Negro League player for part of his career. He played in the Negro Leagues right around this time period. This was issued in the mid-40s. He played into the late 40s, I believe. So this is a playing era card of a guy who was a Negro League baseball player. It's the only one in my collection. And the reason I gravitated towards this, there are some bigger names in this set, but they're super expensive. Like, I think Minnie Minoso, I believe, is in this for like, you know, if you have a couple $1,000s or a few $1,000s to spend, he has a great looking card. This card I got for under $50. Yes, it's wrinkled. The back is all beat up. I fully expected this to get a 1, which is exactly what it got, or maybe even just an authentic. But I think the significance of this card is just, you know, what I already stated. It's the only playing era card in my collection of anyone who played in the Negro Leagues. And on top of that, the obvious thing that drew me to this, it's card number 42. And so I think that just adds a little bit of significance to it. I love the visual appeal of this card. It's great. I love its character. I love everything about this. And, you know, for under $50 and then a $15 grading fee, that feels like a pretty awesome and significant piece for my collection, and right on point for what I'm trying to do in the hobby in 2024. And on that note, the final card of the order, I was really, really surprised about this one. I did show it on the channel last year, picked this up on eBay. It went up as a buy it now for under $100, and I just couldn't resist it at that price. From the also the 2005 Upper Deck Sweet Spot Classic set, same as the Roy Campanella that we looked at a moment ago. Have the Satchel Paige, and again, you know, for the price and knowing that these are condition sensitive, I went into this with low expectations. I didn't look over any of these cards with a loop or anything like that. I just wanted to get them encapsulated, and I wanted them to match the other cards in my collection, and I just went in blind. It's kind of how I've done my submissions, my limited submissions to date. But this card, to my surprise, came back as an SGC 10, which, you know, I haven't looked up. I would imagine is not easy. Maybe the only one of these, I don't know, but they don't typically grade too well, again, just because of that thicker card stock. But I love this card. I was in love with it when I picked it up. Can't believe I actually own a Satchel Paige relic. Probably the greatest pitcher to pitch in the Negro Leagues. It's arguable, obviously, but and a legend at the Major League Baseball level as well. One of my favorite players. And getting this back is so meaningful because it's going to pair with my 53 Topps Satchel Paige and give me a pretty awesome 2-card page collection right there. So love this one. These have the actual language on the back that I love to see, that the These were worn in an official Major League Baseball game. In this case for the Indians, which matches the photo on the front. So just a stellar satchel to close this one out. A lot of variety, even though it was only 10 cards here. I did kind of span vintage, modern, relics, buybacks, serial numbered cards. We got some shine in here, card from the 1940s, and one as recent as 2023 as well. So really enjoyed this process. SGC could not make it easier. The website is easy to use. The turnaround times are incredible. The communication is great. I am already working on putting together my next order. If I can stick to it, I would love to do one submission a month for the year here in 2024, either to SGC or one of the other major graders. That may become cost prohibitive at some point, we'll see, but I'm at least going to get one rolling here for the month of February, so I'm picking out those cards now. But for today, that's it for this 10-card reveal. Really appreciate you joining me for this one. I hope you saw a few cards that interested you among this group. Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And of course, I'll be back very, very soon with some more content. Till then, enjoy the hobby, everybody. See ya.